Chef Buck here, and today we're going to cook up some vegetarian chili, which this is not. But Camera Girl made a jalapeno corn muffin, so I got to make some chili so we can polish off the rest of these muffins. And a vegetarian chili is so easy to make. I got lots of odds and ends in the fridge that I can throw together to make this chili, and it's going to be delicious. You know, if you've never tried a meatless chili before, if you're a diehard carnivore, I don't have a video of this here. She made it this morning before I got my butt out of bed. Yeah, I agree. But I will put the recipe for these jalapeno corn muffins with this chili recipe over at myfoodchannel.com. We'll have it written down below, but go over to myfoodchannel.com if you want to print it out. But let's get started on this chili. Oh, we're going to get our pot going on medium heat. Going to heat me up a little bit of oil. Boom, boom, boom. Once your oil's hot, boom, we're going to throw in some onions. So we'll go ahead and get our onions started in our chili, and then I got a whole bunch of jalapeno pepper here because we want lots of pepper. And I'll go ahead and give these onions and peppers a few minutes. So we've given these about 3 or 4 minutes head start. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw in my bell peppers. This is about 1.5 bell peppers. I just had some odds and ends. But you want to use a variety of colors. You know, that'll make your chili a lot more interesting. Then I'm going to add in some chopped garlic. You want your chili to have a lot of flavor. Man, this is starting off fantastic. You know, this was Jackson Pollock's favorite chili. I bet. Alright, so now we're going to add in our seasonings. Boom, lots of seasonings. This is key to a vegetarian chili. You don't want to skip on the seasoning. So we'll stir our seasoning all around, and we'll give these peppers and onions a little bit of time to cook up with these flavors. So we're going to toss in our beans. And I'm going to use a combo of beans. I got some garbanzo beans. And then I got a can of dark kidney beans. And I've already got these rinsed and drained. Alrighty, it's looking beany-licious. So now we're going to throw in all our other veggies. And you can use whatever kind of veggies you like. You know, I got some leftover rutabaga.
Yes.
Boom, boom, boom. And if you don't know what a rutabaga is, you know, I'll put a link around to some rutabaga videos. And I got some odds and ends for cauliflower. You know, we use a lot of cauliflower. And I like to save the stems for soups and whatnot. But I'm just going to throw in this chili. I like to put zucchini and yellow squash in my vegetarian chili. But I didn't have any squash, so I'm just doing zucchini. Nice big chunks. We'll go ahead and stir these veggies around. And it's kind of a weird chili ingredient, but I like to throw a little dried oregano in there. I like that flavor. Rub it between my hands and release those flavors a little bit. I'm going to add a little tomato. I got a big can of crushed tomatoes. I'm going to go ahead and add a little water to this can and get the rest of this tomato out of here. Man, that looks hearty. And I got a couple of plum tomatoes I chopped up here. And if you wanted to, you could add some tomato paste. That'll make a much sweeter chili. I'm not going to add any today because I don't want it to be too sweet. And this is it, really. Right now, we're just going to heat this up and let it simmer away. But first I'm going to add a little bit more water. But you really want to be conservative with the water. You don't want to add too much. Just enough to kind of make sure that everything's covered up. And it still doesn't look like much water. But this is all I'm going to put in here. So I've raised the temperature up. And I'm going to go ahead and bring the pot up to a bubble. And then I'm going to go ahead and reduce the heat down to a simmer. And then I'm going to go ahead and cover it up and let it simmer away for a little bit. And then I'm just going to keep an eye on it. And it doesn't look overly wet right now, but you don't want to put too much water in at this point because there's a lot of water in those vegetables. And so that's going to come out and it's going to liquefy up, and you don't want it to be too watery. So just let it simmer away, keep an eye on it, add water to it as needed, but just be conservative. Alrighty, so it's been simmering for about a half hour, and I haven't added any water to it at all. But you can see it actually looks more liquidy than when we started because of all the water that's in those veggies. But I'm going to let it continue to simmer away, probably for another 15 minutes. And maybe I'll add a little bit more water to it, but I'm thinking I might not, because I like it nice and thick and hearty, and I definitely don't want to water it down too much. Okay, so it's been another 15 minutes, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off. Look at that. I tell you, you know, if you've never had a meatless chili, and you're sort of like saying, no way, you know, I'm not going to that dark side. Well, don't, because once you go over there, you won't come back. But you know, whenever we make chili at home, I always make a vegetarian chili now, because it's just so easy to do, you know, and it's a great way to clean out your fridge. But we'll just leave this sitting on the stove for a couple hours, and then we'll ladle some up for dinner. And as good as it tastes today, it's going to taste even better tomorrow. That's why it's good to make a lot of vegetarian chili if you're going to make it, because as the days go past, it'll just get even more delicious. So there's our vegetarian chili we're going to try out. And as you can see, it's the next day, because I have a different shirt on and a different haircut. There's the camera girl. But we exercised some willpower and let this sit overnight, so it's going to be even more flavorful. Kept it in the pot overnight. I warmed it up, and I still didn't add any water to it. Look how hearty that is. And that's how I like a chili. I don't want it to be soupy or overly wet. You know, I like it to be nice and chunky, just like a chili. So, you know, be very conservative with the water. It's so good. And it was good yesterday. But, you know, when these flavors sit overnight, you know, it's well worth it if you can make it in advance. So, you know, if you add a lot of seasoning in there, it's going to have a lot of flavor. And it's not just going to taste like a big vegetable soup. It's going to taste like a nice chili. If you want to print this recipe, head on over to myfoodchannel.com and you can print all our recipes over there. Subscribe to our mailing list, and then boom, you know, we'll send you our new posts right into your email inbox. Just like they're doing in the future. That's what the future is, email. I read that on the internet.